Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Melissa and this is Melissa Knits for Fun. Today I have an episode covering all of the test knits that I've done for 2025. I will be trying them on and talking about each one. I will feature them in the order that I completed them, not necessarily in the order that they were due. And I will tell you the yarn, the designer, and what the name of the pattern is. And of course, everything will be listed down below. So let's get started with this beautiful cardigan that I'm wearing today. I'm going to show y'all, get a little closer so you can see the beautiful patterning of the lace and the cables. This is the Kathy cardigan by the Crayabea or Rebecca Clow. And this was my very first test knit of the year. I got it done in, I believe it was January of 2025 because I took it with me to a trip to Costa Rica in February. And this was made out of Holst Garn Super Soft in the color Space and the Titicaca in the color Galaxy held together. And this has turned into a cardigan that I wear quite often, but I do find it a little bit hard to style because it is a little bit more formal than my other cardigans. So I tend not to wear it as much with jeans, or, well, I'll wear it with jeans, but maybe if I'm trying to go somewhere a little bit nicer, right? I'm not throwing it on with a pair of sweats. I'm not throwing it on with a t-shirt. So I do try to style it in a nicer way. I think this is a fancier cardigan. I do enjoy it, but I don't wear it as much as maybe some of my other cardigans. All right. I say I would knit this again. It's what I was about to say. But guys, I don't do very many duplicate knits, so I probably won't ever knit this again, but it's not because there was anything wrong with the pattern. It's not because, I don't like it, because I do. Rebecca Clow is a wonderful designer, and she does great patterns. And that was one of her first designs that she ever did. This is a little interesting fact. It was one of the first designs she ever did. It was one of the first things I saw her design on her podcast, but she didn't release it for, it was probably over a year after she designed it. She released some other things first. I think she had to go back and work out some kinks. And it is named after her grandmother, which I thought was very near and dear. I really like, I'm all about family, so I really like the fact that she had that family connection. All right, next up. And this one was a knit that I did when I was flying back and forth to Chicago every single week. This thing, because I had 2 cones of Holst Garn Tides for this, I was taking this back and forth. It took up almost half of my suitcase, so I really had to pack tight. But I was going back and forth, and finally the last week, before I got it done, I was able to actually put it in my backpack, the 2 cones. So this one went all over the place with me. It's a multi-state knit. All right, and this is the Oatmeal Sweater by Casual Knit Studio. And I'll be honest, usually whenever I wear this, I do wear it buttoned up, or I wear it unbuttoned to the first one. I love this sweater. I love this. I didn't love the knit as much because, and this is my fault, guys. I did not read in my haste to go out there and, sign up for this test knit because I loved the look of this. In my haste to do that, and it was also in one of my favorite yarns, Holst Garn Tides, I did not read it's knit flat. And so you knit it flat, and I think it was from the bottom up. I won't swear to that, but I do know it was knit flat. And then you did pick up around the sleeves, but you knit the sleeve flat, other than, you picked it up here and then you knit it back and forth, and then you seamed it up under the arm. So it does have a seam in it. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be whenever I figured out it was knit flat. I was like, oh no, what have I done? But it went pretty quick. I got it done. I think I was flying back and forth to Chicago for like 8 or 10 weeks. And I got it done in time to wear it the last couple of times I was in Chicago. So I got it done in probably 6 weeks. And it was really, really nice. It was an enjoyable knit. It went really quickly. And I really, really, really enjoyed it. And I do wear it quite a bit. This is probably one of the most worn test knits that I have from this year. I throw this on with everything. I've thrown it on with sweats. I've thrown it on with jeans. I wear it with tennis shoes. I wear it with flats. I just wear it all the time. And I wear it around the house too. I've worn it to work. I've worn it out and about town. I've just worn it all over the place. And it is, as I said, knit out of Holst Garn Tides in the colorway Orchid. And I did hold it double. It is the yarn that it called for. All right. So that was one Chicago knit. Well, I had another Chicago knit as well. And this one was the one that I did on the plane while I was going to and from Chicago. And this is the Delft Sweater by Jennifer Owens. And it is knit out of the pink here is the colorway Fairy Tale. It's Knit Picks Wool of the Andes Sport. And it's the colorway Fairy Tale. And then this was Wonderland Yarns. And it is in the colorway White Rabbit. I don't remember the exact name. I think it's just Wonderland Yarns. It's their superwash. I think it's their sport weight. I'll have to look it up to put, and I'll put on here, of course, exactly what it is. But this, this just reminds me so much of like the China pattern. And when I say China, if you are outside of the United States, it is painted plates or whatever they call them in other parts of the country. But it's a pattern that's put on really fine plates, and we call that China in the United States. It reminds me a lot of that pattern. And then also, I'm sure that it was after the city, Delft is in the Netherlands, I believe. So it is just beautiful. And I will tell you the reason I know that Delft is a city in the Netherlands is because I had a viewer tell me that when the first time that I wore this and talked about it on my podcast. So this is just beautiful. And as you can tell by the pilling down here, I have worn it quite a bit. I actually have a picture and I'll post it up here. I thought it was kind of funny. One of the days that I was in Chicago after work, a group of us, because there was someone who was rolling off the contract, a group of us went down to a bar and to do a little happy hour so that we could say goodbye to him. And I have a picture. I had gotten a cocktail with a flower in it. And I have a picture of me knitting, and my drink is there, and the flower was the same color as what I was knitting on. So I thought that was kind of cool. And then the very next week, I wore it to work, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, we just saw you knitting on that, and now here it is. This, again, this was a very nice knit. I really loved it. I love, 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 love Colorwork. I cannot say how much, I just can't express how much I love Colorwork. I'm going to stand up because I want you to see it's got some Colorwork down here at the bottom as well. So it's not just at the top, it's at the bottom. And then, of course, you can see on the bottom of the sleeves. I really, really, really thoroughly enjoyed this, and I really love wearing it. I may not wear it as much as I do some of the others. I don't think it's quite as casual as things I would just throw on with a pair of sweats. But I have worn this to work. I've worn it out and about. I've worn it to the yarn shop. And I do find myself grabbing it, especially if I'm wanting to make a statement on a video call at work, because sitting there on this camera, and this is what they see, and everybody knows I knit, and they go, oh, did you knit that? Yes, I did. Thank you very much. And it just makes my day whenever somebody asks me. So I do tend to wear this a little bit at work, and it does get a very, very dramatic reaction. All right, and again, the Delft Sweater by Jennifer Owens. And I do think she is a little bit of a smaller designer, so you should go check her out, right? Go check out all of these patterns. They're all wonderful. Now, next up was the first test knit, but not the last test knit that I have done for Melanie Roundtree. And I am currently on my third one for the year with her. She is one of my favorite designers. If you've been watching my channel, you know that I speak about her quite frequently. I absolutely love her designs. And this first one, I saw this, trying to think, I saw it on Facebook. I saw it before the call went out. And I thought, oh my gosh, that is just so beautiful. And I had put in for the Kathy cardigan with the Crayabea. And then all of a sudden Melanie says, looking for test knitters. And I was like, oh my gosh, I absolutely have to put my name in the hat for that. This was the first time I wound up with 2 at the same time. And as you can see, I had about 4 at the same time. But I'd already done the Crayabea, right? So I worked on 3 of them at the same time. But I got both of those in the same day. And so I was like, oh my gosh. But I was so excited. I had to knit this. And then it also was knit out of Gilead, Durarum Nutura Gilead. And I had been wanting to try that for a really long time. And so I was able to order some of the yarn. And I got the colors. I think this is cacao and cell, I believe. I will double check those, but I believe that's the name. But this is the Forest of Arda, and I'm standing up so that you can see the bottoms and how well, I mean, these trees are just beautiful. And I knit this, like I said, it was my first one for Melanie, and this knitted up really quick. I hated that I had to put it aside because I had like the oatmeal sweater. Hang on, I've got to get this off. This one is not as oversized, so it's not as easy to get off. But I knitted this. I had to put it aside because the oatmeal sweater and the Delft sweater were due before this one. She gives you plenty of time to test knit. And so I knitted this. This is the one that we had a lot of fun. I was knitting on this in Costa Rica, and I got down to where it said to knit to, and the trees would have been right there, like cupping my girls. So I reached out and we talked about how long I should knit it and stuff so that we didn't run into that problem. So as you could see, I knitted it just a little bit further, and it's just beautiful. This is all charted. This pattern, it knits up fast. It is a worsted weight. I could see doing this in 220 and Cascade 220 as well if it's hard for you to get Gilead, because it is kind of hard to get in the United States and can be a little bit expensive. I could see knitting this in 220, and it, again, I don't do a lot of duplicate knits, and this one is also a little bit more formal than me throwing it on with a pair of sweats. I don't know that I'll ever do it again, but if I do, I'll probably do it in the same colorway that she did her original, which is a navy and white. But this was just an absolute great test knit. I mean, it was fantastic. I love this Colorwork cabling, and the really cool thing was she gave us the pattern for the cowl, which you will see in the other video of everything else I knit. She gave us the cowl so that we could create the cowl, we could make the cowl to check our gauge. And so we got something out of it. And then as part of this pattern, she gives you the cowl for free. So go check her out. Go check this out. This is just beautiful. And you'll see a repeat of this, but maybe a little bit smaller in just a few knits. All right. Then next up was the Taverna. And this is by Rachel Ilsley, or Unwind Knitwear. And I knit this out of, this is Letha's hand-dyed yarn. I don't think it had a colorway because I called her, I told her what I wanted, I asked her to custom dye it for me, and she did. So this is her hand-dyed yarn, and it is a superwash, I think it's a sock yarn, I think it's a superwash and nylon. And then this colorway here, this turquoise, is Drops Fable, and I'm not positive of the colorway name. I will look it up and I will put it on here. But I think it's probably just turquoise. And this one, I haven't worn it very often. I love this. I learned new things with this one. It is absolutely stunning. Again, it's a little more formal. I'm not throwing this on with a pair of sweats. Would look better if I didn't have a shirt on under it. But I'm not throwing this on with a pair of sweats to run to the grocery store. This is going to be a thoughtful, hey, I'm wearing this for a specific thing. I will wear it to work. I haven't yet, but I plan to. Honestly, I just forgot that I had it until I was looking through my knits the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot all about that. I do really, really like it, and I love this finishing. I need to block it again because it's kind of stretched out, but I love the finishing around the bottom here, and here it was a 3-needle bind off. You actually knit this whole thing flat, and then you joined it here. You knit all of this in the round. All around here was in the round, and then you bound it off with the 3-needle bind off to join the sides. That was really cool. I'd not ever knit like that before, and I found that to be really, really cool. And then this, I don't know, maybe this is the welt that's going around. Stephen West did one on his shawl this year, and I think Andrea Mowry did it on the Ooey Gooey. And so, but I did it as a finishing touch on the Taverna. It's absolutely stunning. I love this colorway. This is some of my favorite color combo. So I do plan to wear this more now that I have uncovered it from underneath all the other knits that I have. And I will be wearing it more often. But again, it was a pleasure to knit, and it really did kind of knit up quickly. And as you can see, and I didn't stand up, but I'll hold it up, it's got the color work at the bottom as well. So how you did it was, you did this whole thing. It was this really weird, like you did this big round, like all the way around, and then you bound it off. I don't remember exactly how, but it was really, really cool. It was a technique I had never done. I'd never done this little welt thing up here either. And I just really enjoyed it. I really love it whenever I have the opportunity to learn a new technique of something. And I learned the new technique with both knitting it flat and then doing the color work and joining it, and then also doing that welt. So I really, really, really enjoyed that knit a lot. Now this next one, I may wind up doing this one again, guys. I may very well wind up knitting another one of these in another color of the Knitting for Olive Pure Silk. This is Knitting for Olive Pure Silk in the colorway Poppy. And I think, oh, they have that new purple out. I don't know if y'all have seen, they've got some new colorways, and they've got a new purple out. I may get some of that purple in the Pure Silk and make another one of these. This is the Ophelia Tee by Linnea Elizabeth Knits. Oh my gosh, let me tell you, this was probably one of my most worn t-shirts this summer. I got it done, I think I got it done in like July. And I've just worn it to pieces ever since. I get compliments on it everywhere I go. Every time I walk into the yarn shop, Letha's like, every time I see you in that, I just love that sweater. I love that t-shirt. It is, I love this. I cannot say enough how much I love it. And she has a long sleeved one now. I almost test knit that one, but I had other test knits going and I just could not. So I may wind up doing this in the long sleeved, and maybe I'll get the merino in the purple as well as the silk. But this is just, look at that detail here, the leaves on the sleeve. It's beautiful. And this is the test knit that almost broke me. I threw this thing across the room and I stomped on it and I ground it into the floor and I cussed at it and I, went to bed. I didn't knit. I wandered around my house like bereft. Oh my gosh, it broke me. I'm not going to knit anything. And then I got up the next morning, I stomped on it some more, and then I finally picked it up and I fixed it because I had to rip out a sleeve. But I got that all done. Everything was okay. And we moved on, and it has become, like I said, probably one of my most worn knits this summer. I love the Knitting for Olive Pure Silk because it really is a nice, cool yarn. I don't get overheated in it in the summer, and so I plan on making multiple different summer garments in the Pure Silk because it just is a beautiful, beautiful yarn. All right. Moving right along. Next up is the Juno Sweater DK by the Knit Pearl Girl. And I specify that it is the DK because there is also a chunky version. They do both come in the same pattern. But she had us test knit them separately, and we did get both of them. But this is the Juno Sweater DK. It is a simple drop shoulder sweater. I love this. This one I do throw on with sweats to run to the grocery store. I wear it with jeans. I've worn it to work. I've worn it to the yarn shop. I've worn it out shopping. This one has become one of my most worn knits. I love the sweater. It is just, it's plain, guys. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. It is classic and timeless, and I can style it with everything. I don't have to think about it. It's not formal. It's just a good old-fashioned sweater, and that is what I love about this. I like the finishing here where she had you do a little bit of ribbing, and then you did a different, I think you just did a couple of rows of knit and then bound off. I don't remember exactly, but I love the neckline of it. I also really, really love this yarn. And I'm going to say this wrong because I know I am. It's a Danish yarn, or Swedish yarn. Sorry, it is a Swedish yarn. It's Svarte Ferret. I think it translates into black sheep, and this is their llama. And it says it's a worsted weight, but it knits up. You can knit it to a gauge of DK, and you can see it's nice and, it's nice and flowy. It's nice and drapey. It's not too drapey, but it's not too stiff. So I really, really, really enjoyed this. I enjoyed the knit. I enjoyed the knit because it was nice. It was mindless. I could knit in meetings. It was just stockinette, and I also loved it because of the yarn. And I love wearing it for all of the same reasons. And the Knit Pearl Girl, I love her patterns. She can be fairly wordy sometimes. I do have one of her patterns that I looked at and I read and I went, okay, I'm going to put that down for just a second because I'm not sure that my brain can handle that many words right now. I do plan on picking it back up. It's one of the V-neck sweaters, and I'm going to do it probably next year. But this one I thought was really good. It wasn't too wordy. And it's very, very clear. And let me tell you, she is so generous. I mean, she started out, she was going to give us 3 patterns anyway, just to test knit. And then, because there was a little problem, and I'll see if it's here. I don't even know. Yeah, you can kind of see it. It's got a little hump here. All I have to do to fix that is just pull it down. Okay? It might ride back up, but nobody's looking at the back of my neck. But it does have a little bit of hump of fabric right there when you put it on if you're not careful and you don't adjust it right. And so because we ran into that problem, she gave us 2 extra free patterns. I honestly don't think that I took advantage of those 2 extras. That's okay. I was more than happy to get 3 patterns. I mean, I was thrilled. And then, I'm stalking her for one of her next test knits. But she was a pleasure to test knit for. Now she, unlike the Creabea, unlike Melanie Roundtree, I don't remember how involved Rachel was, but most of the other designers that I have test knit for have been involved in the chat group. Sophie was not, unless there was a problem. She kept an eye on it, and then if there was a problem, she would step in, but she wanted the feedback and everything to go through Canva. So she wasn't super involved in the chat until we ran into problems. That's fine, but she was so, so sweet. I reached out to her through email and stuff, and she was just super nice. So I would absolutely test knit for her again. I only have one designer that I wouldn't test knit again for. I'm not going to tell you who it is out of these, but there is one that I just have no desire to test knit for again. Now, moving right along is my first test knit for Kirsten Michelle. And this, I'm going to hold it up because I don't want to keep standing up. You can see how pretty this is, what a beautiful design it is. And I believe Kirsten is in Poland. I won't swear to that, but I think that's where she's at. And this was inspired by, I think, some embroidery. I don't remember. If you go out and check out the pattern site, it will tell you what she got inspired by. Now, this fits much better if I'm not wearing a t-shirt under it. Right now, let me stretch everything out. Wearing a t-shirt, I probably should have knit this maybe a size bigger. I don't know. It does fit really well whenever I wear it next to skin. And this is the Janaloudi by Kirsten Michelle. And it is knit out of Holskarn Super Soft, held double. And it is the colorway, it's white and sapphire. And I held this double. It is beautiful, but I haven't really worn it for a couple of reasons. Again, this is one of those where I wouldn't just throw on with sweats and, you know, run to the store. But I will wear it to the yarn shop. And the other thing is, it's a heavy sweater, right? It's held double. It's a DK, and it is a wool. It's 100% wool, so it's a woolly wool, and it is a thicker sweater, and it's just not really been that cold here this year, so I haven't really worn it. Doesn't mean I won't, because I do plan to wear this if I can get it off, actually. All right, I do plan on wearing it, and I probably will wear it to the yarn shop, and I'll probably wear it to work one of these days, wear it online so that I can show it off. But again, Kirsten Michelle, Janaloudi, and she has got, if you haven't checked her out, she's got some really beautiful, beautiful colorwork sweaters. So you should really go and check her out. She's a beautiful designer. All right, as I told you, the Forest of Arda made a reappearance, but it is this time the Little Forest of Arda, and I knit the size 2T, and this is a cardigan, and so is the other one. The regular one as well is a cardigan and a pullover, both in the same pattern, and this is as well. It is a cardigan and a pullover. I prefer pullovers. I'm just not a huge cardigan wearer, and so I usually test knit pullovers. But look at how cute this little thing is. I have no grandchildren. I don't know if I'll ever have grandchildren, but I didn't care. I had to knit this. Look at how cute this little stinking thing is. So this, I had scraps, guys. I had leftovers from my Forest of Arda, and so I just used the same colors. I used my leftovers, the Durarum Natura Gilead in the colors, I'm pretty sure it's Cacao and Cell. And I just used the leftover yarn, and I made a matching one. So if I ever do wind up with a little granddaughter, there will be Mimi and Mini-Me little sweaters. These are great patterns, guys. If you knit and you have a granddaughter or you have a daughter and you want to do like a Mommy and Me or a Grammy and Me kind of sweater set, this is adorable, and it's just great. And as I said, you could absolutely use something like Cascade 220. You could absolutely do this in superwash as well. Do the Cascade 220 superwash, and just be able to throw it in the washer and dryer. This was my second test knit for Melanie. Had as great of an experience with the second one as I did with the first one, and so I am currently test knitting a third one for her. But that is the Little Forest of Arda by Roundtree Stitchery or Melanie Roundtree. Then next up, this was not even on my radar, but my friend Lisa sent me a thing saying, oh my gosh, look at this. Look at this. Look at this new test knit by Melanie Berg. I loved it. It was so pretty. And I happened to have this Drops Air yarn in my stash. So I put in and I asked to test knit, and I got selected. And so I test knit this. Guys, I probably could have knit this in a week. I think it took me about 2 weeks to knit. And that was, well, actual knitting time. I think that the actual time was about a month because I had to order new yarn. I had, all of my balls were not in the same colorway or the same dye lot. So anyway, I wound up having to order some more yarn, and I had to wait on it to get here from overseas. So it did take me a little bit longer, but I could have actually knit this if I'd had the yarn and everything. I could have knit it in a week. It is an Arrayn weight gauge. This has been one of my most worn knits. I wear this thing constantly. I wear it to work. I wear it sitting around the house. I wear it, if I'm cold, this sucker is going on. I've worn it to the yarn shop. I have thrown it on with some sweats. I style this thing with everything. I love this sweater. Now, I will tell you, I wear my knits constantly. They are not special occasion things. I try to wear my knits every single day. So I've worn this one several times, and people talk that drops air, pills a lot, and I do see some pilling there, but as much as I've worn it, I don't think it's that bad. And, you know, this has gone in the washing machine as well. And I just don't think that it's that bad. I think it's held up pretty well. We'll see what I think after I've had it for a year or two. But this is the Midnight Drive by Melanie Berg. Absolutely beautiful. And as you saw, I did turn the collar to the inside. You could absolutely wear it turned to the outside as well if you wanted to. But she styles it, and the very last thing in the pattern says to turn it to the inside to wear. And I do like the look of that better than turning it outside, but you could do it either way. And it's just very simple to style. I style it with everything. It's just a plain stockinette with this beautiful detailing around the cuffs, the collar, and the hem. And this is the Drops Air in the colorway. I have forgotten the colorway. It's not peacock blue because peacock's more teal. Bluebird? I think it may be Bluebird. Anyway, I'll find the colorway and I'll put it up here. But this is Drops Air. And I knew the colorway when I sat down, but it just left me, right? It's the over 50 brain. All right, guys, we are coming up on the end. I've only got a couple more to go. So we are going to talk about now the Elk Ridge Sweater, or the Elk Ridge Pullover. I don't remember how it's listed, and you can see it's got color work down here as well, and the bottom does not. I was thinking it did, but it does not. It is elk heads right here. I knit this because my oldest son Brandon is a big hunter. I was really hoping to talk him into wearing it. He won't. I kind of don't blame him because this is made out of Letlopi, which is an Icelandic yarn. Well, it's not the softest yarn in the world. I can wear it next to skin, and I will. I haven't worn this yet. It's just not been cold enough this year yet to wear. I suspect that come January and February, it will get cold enough that I will wind up wearing this for work one day because I keep my house fairly cold. And if we have another one of those -17 days, yeah, I'll be wearing this. But this is the Elk Ridge Sweater by Amanda Roosh. And this was her very first design. I was absolutely amazed that very first design, she does this beautiful, intricate color work. And it is just beautiful. I did use the yarn that she recommended, which is the Iztex Letlopi. I did not use the same colorways that she did. I used, this is chocolate, I believe. And I will look and make sure, but it is chocolate, ash, and black bear, I think, is the black one. Or black sheep. It's black something. But those are the three colorways that I used. This was a really quick knit. It was bottom up. Now, the only thing that got me with that was the sleeves. You can see my sleeves are a little bit long, but I will tell you, if it is cold enough outside to need to wear Letlopi, I will be happy that I have a little bit of extra length on my sleeves. So I am not unhappy about that. I may do some sweater surgery and just cut part of this off and then Kitchener it together. If I do, I'll make a video. I'm not sure though, because just sitting here, I actually kind of like the sleeve length. So they probably, and we've talked about this on my channel before, I'm lazy. So they're probably going to stay this length. But things that I really do love about this, I love the collar and how it fits. I just love the fit of this. It's just, it just fits really well. I just can't say it any differently than that. It just fits so, so well. It was a very quick knit. You know, it was from the bottom up, but it was in the round. So it wasn't flat. So I didn't have to do any color work flat. It doesn't really bother me to do color work flat, but I didn't have to do any for this. And you knit the sleeves from the bottom up. You knit them up. And then, I'm trying to think. I don't think that you started the color work yet with the sleeves. But you did it just like a normal in the round from the bottom up. You knit the sleeves up to a certain point, then you knit the body up to the yoke, and then you put the sleeves back on there, and then you knit them all together, and then you have to sew up a hole underneath here. It was, the construction was fine, and I was able to try it on. You can try on things that you knit from the bottom up. It's not quite as easy. It's not quite as intuitive. Obviously, my sleeves, you know, if I could have tried this on from the top down, they probably would fit a little bit better, but it's okay. I don't regret it. And if I ever make it again, which I don't think that Brandon's going to let me knit this one for him in a softer yarn. We'll see. But if I do, then I will make the sleeves a little bit. Well, actually, I won't make them any smaller if they're for him, any shorter, because they fit him perfect. But if I do wind up knitting myself one, then I would make the sleeves a little bit shorter. But this, as I said, it's just not been cold enough yet to wear it, but I would absolutely wear it. And I'm very lucky. I mean, I can feel the yarn. It's not like I'm sitting here and it's soft as silk and I can't feel it, but it doesn't really bother me. It's not that itchy. It's itchy, but it's not that itchy. I can handle it. I can wear it all day. And like I said, I probably will wear it in February or January or February to work whenever it's good and cold outside. All right. Moving right along. Next up is the Lucid Pullover. And this is by Turquoise Toque Designs. And I picked the wrong yarn and the wrong size. It called for a sport weight. I should have done what I was going to do originally. I was going to use Drops Alpaca. This is just way too big. I was going to do Drops Alpaca, and I could not get gauge. I thought it was going to be way too small. I should have knitted it. I should have just started knitting and do what I do now, which is to knit part of it. Like I use part of the sweater as my gauge swatch instead of trying to do a small swatch. I just find it gives me better results. Well, so I wound up picking this, which is the Queensland Recycled Tweed, which is a discontinued yarn. And I don't remember the colorway. It's not espresso. I forget the colorway. I'll pop it up down here. I mean, I'll have all the information. But it is a DK. And I think that I did two things. I think number one, the yarn was too big. And number two, I chose too large of a size. I should have knitted a size down. I do actually have plans to knit this one again. I really want this sweater. It is really, really pretty. I mean, it's just too big, but I love the design. And it's just too big. Look at how big this is. I mean, I could fit another person in here with me. This was not a pattern problem, guys. Let me make that absolutely perfectly clear. Jennifer Owens, no, not Jennifer Owens. What is her name? Turquoise Toque Designs. It's Jennifer something. But anyway, she was a delight to test knit for. The pattern was fantastic. I loved it because it was broken down into sections. So for my brain, that was perfect. I could knit a section and then put it down and then come back and knit another section and put it down. It was perfect. I do want this to fit me. I am probably not going to frog this because it's not worth it. I'm probably going to knit it out of the alpaca just like I planned to begin with. And I'll probably knit a size smaller and I'll go from there. But I do really want one to fit me. So I will do that. I do have another one of this yarn in espresso, which is a dark brown. This is more of a burgundy. But I don't really want it in this yarn. I really think it was made to go with the tweed. And so I mean, I think the tweed is pretty, but I really think that I just want a solid dark color and just knit it solid. So I will probably do that. And like I said, I do plan to knit this one again because this was a miss. And it was my miss. It was absolutely 100% my miss. I chose the wrong yarn. I chose the wrong size. It is what it is. But I'm just probably not going to wear it, right? Because it is just too big. I have worn it a couple of times and I just don't feel comfortable in it. It's just too big. So I will be giving this away. I will either find someone who can wear it at the yarn shop, or I'll find somebody, you know, that I know that can wear it, or who knows, on a future episode, I might see if somebody wants me to send it to them and you can wear it, or you can, you know, repurpose the yarn. So we'll see what happens, but I do plan to give this away. I would like it to get some use because it is a very nice pattern. All right, moving along. Another test knit for Kirsten Michelle, and she put out, this is the Christmas headband. And in this, I think there are either 5 or 6 motifs that you can do. And I chose to do this one. This took me maybe 6 hours of knitting to do the entire thing, maybe even less. I know I got this done in one night. I just sat down and knitted this. And it's just a little headband. It's quick knit. It's just adorable. I actually am going to make one for my friend Shauna with the Christmas trees. I need to just make myself sit down and knit it because it's a really quick knit. Don't have a whole lot to say about that. I knitted this out of scraps. This is Gilliam Durera, or Durarum Natura. Gilead is the green. The white is Drops Charisma. And then this red was some scrap yarn. I ended up throwing away after this because it was horrible. And I don't remember. It was House of Yarn. It was Gestalt or something like that. I did not like it at all. And I didn't even ever want to touch that again. So I threw that ball away. I plan on doing another one. I have some red Gilead left over. And so I'm going to do the white Charisma, the red and green Gilead, and make one for Shauna. I did knit the smallest size in this because I just wanted to get it done. And I will put this on real quick and I will show you. It's pretty tight because, as I said, I knit the smallest size. So it is tight. But it warms my ears. It would be a good ear warmer. But if I made another one for myself, I'd probably knit a size up so that I don't feel like that I'm a mushroom. And so, all right. And guys, last but not least, this one actually I didn't, this was due the 1st of January, so I did need to get it done. But this one just wanted to be a sweater so bad that it just basically knit itself. This is the Arrayn Sweater by Pearl Can Dream. And this is my latest test knit. This is the one, if you've been watching my podcast, you've already seen this and you've seen me wear it. And boy, Heidi, have I worn this. Oh, I swear right after I got it done, I lived in this sweater. I have worn it. It's been done, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks. It's been done for a few weeks, and I've probably worn this 6 or 7 times. I love this sweater. I love the color. I love the yarn. I love the design. I love how it fits. I love the wearability. I can style it with everything. I've worn it with a pair of sweats. I've worn it with a pair of jeans. I've worn it with flats. I haven't worn it with tennis shoes, but I have worn it with flip-flops. I would throw this on with a pair of shorts even if it was one of those days where it was cool. You know, it was warm enough to wear shorts, but it was still cool enough you wanted something on your arms. I would wear this. I would sleep in this if I could. It is beautiful. This, and I had a lot of trouble with this one, guys. And it was a me problem. Part of it, there were some pattern things, but this is why you test knit. Because things that, right, you write a pattern a certain way. And it makes sense to your brain. Somebody else picks it up and tries to knit it, and it doesn't make as much sense to them, right? Because everybody sees things a little bit differently. So there were some things in the pattern that I suggested, hey, it might be easier if it did this, and hey, you maybe should move the numbers over here. But little things like that. most of the things that I had the problems with was me. It was me reading the chart wrong. It was me not doing something right. So the majority of the problems were me problems. And I did have to rip it out several times and start over. And those were absolutely me problems. But I persevered. And let me tell you, this may become a repeat knit. That is how much I love this sweater. This is made out of Sandusgarn alpaca silk. They do still make that yarn, but they don't make the color anymore. This is red. And then I used some red mohair that I got from Woolly Knit, or not Woolly Knit, Woolly Yarn that comes on a cone. It's a mill end. And it's a 70-30 blend. I just, this might be my favorite test knit of the year. I have worn it more than any of my other test knits. It is stunning. I love all my test knits. There's not any in here that I'm like, well, I take that back. This one I probably will not wear. I've already told you I'm going to wind up giving it away, but that's not a problem with the test knit. I'm going to knit that again because I want that sweater. There's not any of these that I have knit that I have said, wow, kind of wish I hadn't test knitted that because I will never wear it. There are some that are more formal. I won't wear as much because they're not as easy to style. But I knew that going in. I knew that when I saw the pattern, but I just really wanted to knit it. I do knit things that I just want to knit and that I may or may not be able to wear a lot of. This is not one of those. Like I said, this one may become another sweater. I may just have to knit another one because it is so incredibly beautiful. And guys, with that wraps up everything I test knit in 2025. If you enjoyed watching this, make sure that you like and subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of my content. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and being part of my community this year. And guys, I hope to see you in the new year, and happy knitting, guys.